So Magnus is white. He's gone for Alapin. D4 खेलता है क्या कि castle भी है? So I am on the 9th move, bishop e6, queen e6, and now he played a4. I think he's still in theory.
Wow.
He's still in his prep. So a4, queen d7.
Typical culture.
Oh, nice. a5. He's just going a4, a5, a6. वो और एक गेम में भी ऐसा किया ना उसने, आई थिंक विदित के साथ जल्दी उसने इटालियन में A4 A5 जल्दी खेल दिया था। यहाँ पे भी उसको शायद लीला चेस का वो अल्फा जीरो का गेम्स बहुत पसंद आया होगा, तो उसने भी knight c6, queen c6.
But right now the position.
Right now the position is queen
and then
g4.
he played queen g.
Right, this queen g4, h5, queen e2, and he played b5. And now Carlsen went for knight a3. So this is the position on the board. Actually, Nepo took already. So they are playing really fast, Sagar and Amrita.
Oh, he took on a3 because he didn't want the b5 pawn to fall.
Right.
Like he didn't want to defend it with rook b8.
Right.
So after rook a3, the problem for black is where to put his king, because if he castles short, then the h5 pawn is hanging, and if he castles long, then the king is very exposed. So maybe Nepo will try to keep his king in the center on e7, but over there also it's not so safe. So I believe that white looks better because of the king's safety issues. I think the funny thing is that now Nepo will play h4, h3, and then on the queen side you have a4, a5, a6, and black has h5, h4, h3. It will be a crazy position.
पर h4 को समय ने बताया ना कल, h4 को h3 खेल देने का.
But I like Nepo's last move. I like it very much because he's played f6 and he's making room for the king to come to f7. Once the king comes on f7, then he can already think about pushing his pawn to g5 as well. And in a way, if you look, the knight on d5 is being is dominating the bishop on c1, because wherever it goes, the knight is controlling those squares. The only problem I see is that if white can engineer b3 and c4,
exactly,
somehow
bishop d2, rook c1,
So many
b3.
Chat, this is the most weird kind of thing that at least for me, Soumya, because I cannot see the chat, I cannot see what is happening. I don't know what is going on. I'm just talking about the position, and it is like just.
So this after f6, exactly as Sagar says, if c4 is successful, then the knight, where will it go? And then b file or d file will also be opened in that case. So yeah, I mean then white would be definitely better, right?
Sorry, I was looking at the chat, Amrita.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
C4, after b3, c4, white would definitely land in a very great position. It seems like that.
Right.
Other ideas as well.
Right. Carlsen is thinking a lot. So
What's
maybe
the time?
टाइम अभी कार्सन ने अभी 4 मिनट लिया है उसके पहले के मुंह को. अभी रुक b3 खेला, उसके पास अभी 12 मिनट है और नेपो के पास भी 12 मिनट है.
Okay, that's good.
He's played rook b3. तो knight c7 खेला, protecting b5. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll try to start the engine. Okay, let's see. ठीक है. हाँ, अभी बार you can see guys. हाँ, थोड़ा बहुत चल रहा है ना.
No, knight c7. Now the threat is that b5 pawn is protected, and you are threatening to take the pawn on a6. Yeah, bishop f4. Then black can go e5, right?
Bishop
so
f4.
bishop f4, maybe e5 is possible. Yeah, e5 stopping, because if knight takes a6, there is rook takes b5.
Black can't take for bishop f4, knight a6 because we have rook b5. That's what Sagar is saying.
You know, when Nepo played knight c7, he was attacking the a6 pawn, and we were thinking, ki, what will Carlsen do there? And I was thinking bishop f4, but then e5 would come, and I was thinking of all these sorts of moves. But look at what Carlsen has done. Carlsen has played his rook to b4, and after queen takes a6, he's swooped his rook over to h4, now attacking the h5 pawn, and it seems like it's not so easy to defend that pawn on
Right.
h5, because maybe you go g6, right, over there. What do you do, Soumya? If you go g6, then the structure becomes so weak overall. So Nepo has played king f7, very interesting position, because the black king seems to have found some safety on f7. At the same time, if you look now, black is much better coordinated than white, because the white rook on f1 was not doing much. Also, the bishop on c1 was not doing much. But rook e1, very quiet and nice move by
Right.
Carlsen.
Actually, I think black is okay now, because मुझे बीच में ना black का position बहुत अच्छा लग रहा था, पर अभी वो a6 pawn जब से गया, I think black का थोड़ा ठीक हो गया, मतलब problems solve हो गए.
Yeah. Also, I mean, the main problem is ki, where is the weakness now to attack for white? Because
Right.
e6 seems like a good weakness to attack, but it is defended by the queen and the king nicely. At the same time, the bishop is not playing an important role in the game. Magnus will have to weave some kind of a magic here in order to put pressure on Yan, because rook h8 means that his queen cannot come to h5. Oh, look at the move he's played. He's played his pawn to h4. Yeah, he's in this rook pawn pushing mode. Yeah, like pehle a4, a5, a6. Now h4 he has pushed.
कुछ हो रहा है क्या पर, मतलब पुश करके आगे कहाँ जाएगा वो?
मुझे लगता है एक आइडिया ऐसा हो सकता है that he can play rook. By the way, Nepo plays a5, and now the idea could be to go queen g4 with the idea of rook takes h8, and h5, so that your queen can enter queen g6.
You know, instead of a5, I was thinking if black can play g6. Okay, look at my idea. Okay, I want to play g6.
Okay.
Rook into h8. Rook into h8. Now h4 is hanging. If you play g3, okay, if I wanted to play g5, but luckily you have h5 here, right? And then it's still okay.
By the way, look what Magnus has done. He's taken on h8, rook takes h8, and pushed his pawn to h5. And I guess we are going to get the same thing, maybe queen g4, queen g6 incoming. And Magnus says, yes, my bishop on c1 is slightly is passive, not getting into the game, but it is controlling the entire diagonal all the way to h6.
Knight e7 शायद खेल सकता है. Block कर दिया.
Did he play knight e7?
No, actually he didn't play queen g4 itself. He played, so this is the actual game, and he played bishop d2 here. He anyway played knight e7, I think, anticipating this queen g4 ideas, and white went h6. So, oh my god, Magnus is in like full killer mode today. Hit out.
But what about g5?
G5.
But
queen
because once
h5,
you go
knight g6. Oh, that is your idea, na?
Yeah, I was thinking like if you go g5 or g6, both are possible in this position, because then you will have to think of, or do you think he can be greedy and take the pawn on h6?
Yeah.
G takes it.
Yeah, he took the pawn, queen h5 and knight g6.
Wow. Actually, Nepo has one thing. Yeah, he is not afraid of Magnus. If Magnus is bluffing, Nepo calls it, and he's able to put Magnus under pressure.
Can white actually take on h6? It would be disastrous, if white takes on h6. Then the bishop is permanently pinned. Because the queen can never move. So even the queen can never move. There is no way to move the queen in such a place that it also supports the bishop. So
I think Magnus is thinking now, what is the next way to get the next move in? Because everything he does has some disadvantage. let's say he tries to bring his rook up from e3 to g3, then black can suddenly start pestering the bishop also, yeah, with maybe queen d6 or something like that. So it's not so simple for Magnus to come up with some good ideas here what to do.
He
Maybe
took bishop h6, Sagar. Can you believe it? अभी हम बात कर रहे थे
Yes, yes.
कितना बकवास मूव है, बिशप h6 ब्लंडर हो जाएगा और उसने ले लिया, मैग्नस ने ले लिया.
No, it's not a blunder. I don't think it's a complete blunder, but it's definitely a risky move. What Magnus thinks is that black has no way to increase pressure on that piece.
Yeah, that's true, but like it's so risky to play like this. I don't understand. I mean, he's just going all out basically. He's just burning all his bridges. There is no way to
Yeah,
go
bishop
back.
takes.
There is no way to go back now.
I understand, and bishop takes h6. I think Yan will jump on this opportunity to play queen d5, because after this, the queen exchange is forced. Queen takes d5, e takes d5, and then bishop has to move away somewhere. And it seems like black has a very good position there. So this looks already not so great for Carlsen already.
Queen and knight combination is usually said to be better than queen and bishop, but abhi wo knight on f8 is very passive, whereas the bishop on g5 is very active. So white को ही थोड़ा chance है ना यहाँ पे.
Where should Nepo move his knight now? That is the question. Should he play knight h7 or should he go king f7? Because knight h7 can be met
Queen
with
g8.
queen e8 check.
No, queen g8 is also
Yeah,
good.
queen
Yeah?
g8. Queen g8 seems to be over because queen
Yeah.
g7 is met with h5, right?
Yeah, it's over actually. Queen g8 के बाद. So knight h7 is not possible.
So king f7. But king f7, queen e7 check, king g8 looks risky for black. I mean, the queen and bishop is coordinating well.
Yeah, exactly. Bishop, matlab king f7. Just imagine if he had gone king f7, he went queen g7, but now I think you can take queen e8. You can play queen e8, right? Queen g7 ko? Yeah, he played queen e8 and take on b5. And you're a pawn up, you'll win the a4 pawn as well. You're 2 pawns up actually. Now you'll win the a4 pawn as well. He played knight g6. Okay, Magnus is 2 pawns up. H4 pawn is protected, guys, by the queen, so not hanging. And अभी knight e5 खेला, इसको king f1 खेल दो. Knight f3 avoid करो. Okay, I think it's over.
So Magnus strikes back, no?
Right. Magnus will win this. Yeah, Carlsen lost the first round.
Well, Carlsen back now, and this time it seems like he will equalize the scores already, because 2 pawns is a big advantage in such a position. So
Right.
Carlsen is winning, and let's go back quickly.